But equally,
we're gonna have a lot of chances against them.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst transition teams in the league. Let's not even joke about that. They're generally horrendous. Don made a very good point. He said we're not playing that great, but the only thing is they have more quality than us. If I'm being honest with you, and if you're being honest with yourself, since Amorim came into the league, Manchester United have been a better coach team than Man City. So he's actually doing a better job coaching than Pep. Okay, this is not actually a bad take. Like, if you're just being honest with yourself, watch the City games and watch the United games. Manchester United are currently a better coach team. They're not a better team in terms of quality, but in terms of coaching, we do get set up better than them. We don't concede the amount of chances as them. We don't get opened up in the midfield and the backline like them. So yes, that element, when you look at these things, this is why this game is a little bit unpredictable, because you're looking at it, what's going to prevail, the coaching or the quality? Yes, you can look at the City team and you're like, yeah, they're a good team. They have the quality. In 90 minutes, they could do exactly what they did to Force. Just for 90 minutes, they look like the City of old. But right now, they're not playing like a good team. They're not a good cohesive unit. And the chat can cry all they want. They're already saying, oh, what are you talking about? A team that has 1 win in 10, you cannot tell me that they're a better coach team. They're not actually coached well. I look at United versus Forest as an example. Yes, we lost to Forest, but did we lose because of the coaching or because of the players? Look at the players when we played against Forest. They could have if you would have just picked up the ball and threw it in the back of your net as a United player, it would have been the same thing. Because we conceded, I remember saying this on the match reaction, we conceded 3 goals on a 0.6 XG. That's not down to coaching. You watch United yesterday, watch our transitions. Our transitions have improved a lot. And everyone spoke about that. He spoke about the starting point of our transitions, where he tells players where to be when we don't have the ball. So we are better equipped when we get the ball to go in the transition. You look at City. Why do people troll Kyle Walker every week? It's because he's mainly getting cooked on transitions. He cannot.
Gundogan as well.
Sorry?
Gundogan as well.
Yeah, their whole team is getting cooked on transitions. So when you look at the coaching, I trust Amorim to put a good plan. I just don't trust these players that even if we're playing better or if we're not conceding a lot of chances, that we're not going to lose. That's the issue. I cannot trust that if we go on another 3-on-1 chance, running at one of their defenders, that we're going to make the right pass. Or we're in the box like Mount had the ball and like Garnacho had the ball and like when Rashford had the ball, that we're gonna score these chances. These are the things that make the game a lot more unpredictable. I could predict that we're gonna set up well. I do predict that our backline and our midfield are not gonna look as bad because we don't get opened up as much as we used to anymore. The chances we concede and the goals we concede, most times it comes down to individual errors.
And
you look at City on the other side, I'm not going to lie, they don't cater to their backline anymore. They really don't. I actually feel like, and listen, Nubbin said that a lot, and Nubbin is probably the one Man City fan that I respected his opinion more than anyone. And that's no disrespect to anyone. I know he's an analytical guy, and I listen to some of the things that he says, and I agree with him. The way that they're setting up, most times than not, Pep doesn't know what he wants to do. And more times than not, he's not setting up the team correctly or picking the team correctly. And he's struggling the best to find his best 11 at this moment. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a tough game. I do think we're going to set up better than them. But as I said, I don't know if we're going to take our chances if they get or not. Are we going to get chances? I do think we're going to get chances. Are we going to score?
How would you set up in attack then, bro? Because personally, for me, Rashford cannot be in this 11, bro. Right?
Rashford, until he leaves, Rashford should not start another game for us. The only time Rashford ever starts a game for us again, it's because we're rotating and we need to rest someone. In terms of picking your best 11, Rashford does not get in anyone's best 11 right now.
What happens? He seems to start well under Amorim, if I'm not mistaken. Like, or in the post Ten Hag era, he was starting to bag.
Man, he scored a goal against Ipswich. What else did he do in that game, bro? He had
one touch. You know what's happened to Rashford? What is happening here is Rashford, when Chelsea fans try to banter us for giving them Sancho, it doesn't impact me in any capacity because it doesn't matter whether he was never going to do for us what he's doing for Chelsea. The relationship in his direction, our direction, fans, broken. Rashford's in that same place. Whether you love or despise Rashford and anywhere in between, it's just it's a situation. It's a marriage that is broken, that the only way to resolve it is a divorce and for both parties to go their separate ways, it's going to remain problematic. Equally, away from the emotion and the feeling and the relationships, he can't play the 10 role, and he's told us he's not a 9. So the position that he likes to play, where he likes to be on the pitch, we don't have that available in the squad anymore. And this is why I heard the commentators last night sort of digging out Amorim. Oh, he's made 26 sort of changes and rotations this early. Is that the right thing to do? Well, firstly, go and tell me how many rotational moves all the other Premier League clubs in Europe have made with all these games recently. I reckon 26 is about on point with everybody when it comes to the amount of rotation that's been done. Chelsea are probably higher than us in that period. And I've seen everybody do it. Secondly, he's told why the media are talking about it when they're the fuckers that get to interview him. It's crazy because he said, I've got to test people in different positions. I've got to see. We have now seen Rashford play as a 9. We've seen him play on the left of the 10. We've seen him play on the right of the 10. We've seen Ahmad play at fullback. We've seen him play in the number 10. We've seen Bruno in the 10. We've seen Bruno deeper in midfield as an example. We've seen Delo on both sides. We haven't seen Mazza actually play as a wing back yet. I still want to see that and see how it goes. But we've seen multiple players used in different kind of positions where we want to see him tested, what works well, what doesn't. And the one consensus I think that most Man United fans all agree on is love him or loathe him, Rashford shouldn't be playing, as you say, unless it's for rotation. And I actually think we should look to sell him in January. If we can get an offer of around 40 million or more, because it's still, well, the one thing I would say is that, again, you'll get this kind of comment. Oh, but is Bayern Munich are interested in Barca and PSG, and why should we get rid of a player who those great teams are after? That just shows me that people lack life experience. And I still think there's a player in Rashford. I think what he needs is a change. I don't think he's a dead player. Some people do, and that's fine. And he'll go to PSG and he'll either do well or he won't. It doesn't really, as a Man United fan, the debate about whether or not he is a good player or a bad player is irrelevant to me. He's a player that has to go, irrespective of how good or bad I think he could be in the future here or somewhere else, because I don't think he's going to deliver for us. And it's a shame. I would have loved to have seen him turn it round, even just for the whole of this season, get back to what he did a few years ago and bang 30 goals in, because it would help us. But I cannot see. It was moments yesterday where things weren't coming off for him. And you can see shoulders down, head down, dejection. And I just think to myself, we've got to cash in on that. And if somebody is willing to drop 40 mil on him, take £350,000 a week off of our books, then we can reinvest that somewhere else. Because at the moment, an academy player will only do as bad as him, if not better. And it doesn't cost you as much money in the short term. Because Rashford right now, he's a lame duck when we play him. And I hate saying it. I feel almost disrespectful to him, but I've got to be honest. He's a lame duck. He's a passenger. He's a problem for us when he's on the football pitch. I would rather a young academy player be given an opportunity in that role than Marcus Rashford, because he can only do as bad, but then you can move him on. It doesn't cost you very much. Paying £350,000 a week for a lame duck, we've got to get rid of that. Out of all the players that have got to go, and there's a lot of them, for me, Rashford has moved to the top of that list. And if we can do it in January, got to move him on. And for someone that said nobody will pay.